Hello and welcome to Rubbin Minds. I am Hero Daniels, your guest host for today. It's been quite a very eventful week. How are you really doing? Some good news. I think I'll start off with some good news. That some states have started rolling out their palliatives. They received the 2 billion naira out of the promised 5 billion naira per state in order to subsidize the effect of the fuel subsidy removal. Also, there seems to be a coup d'etat role in Africa as Gabon has the military taking over, just as we saw in Niger. And the NLC has also threatened to go on a warning strike, a 2-day warning strike starting this Tuesday. And they have a meeting with the federal government on Monday, and hopefully, I hope that they can come to an agreement. All of the things happening in this nation can sometimes take a toll on our mental health and physical health. So that's why we want to start off with something very interesting and something that would be very, very beneficial to your mental health and your physical health. This man I'm about to introduce, he is in the habit of waking up in the morning and dragging us on social media. In the words of Gen Zs, you know, he comes and he tells us to drink water a lot, and you know, he just gives us tips on how to maintain a very healthy life. I have Dr. Chinonso Egemba, a health and wellness content creator. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so this segment, we're going to call it Advice You Did Not Know You Needed. You know, when we talk about health advice, we just think it's just, you know, the basics, check your BP and all of that. But there's certain advice in health that you did not know you needed. And the man that will give us that advice is Aproko. Doctor, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. It's been a long time. The last time I saw you, it was in Abuja for a conference.
Yes, yeah. It has. I think the other last time was during COVID while I was on the show. It's been quite a while.
I know. Okay, so let's get straight into it. A lot is happening in this nation. People are facing, you know, people are facing quite a lot.
Yep.
With the first subsidy removal, you'd notice that a lot of people are struggling financially, and this is taking a toll on our mental health. It's taking a toll on our physical health. How do you think we can keep our body and soul together in these trying times?
So I think one of the first things I would say is you need to understand the things you can change. You need to understand the things you can change and work on those things, because whether we like it or not, stress has become something that has become worthy of note. So we have to take, note of it, because the best way to describe stress for me is just imagine you came to visit me and all of a sudden there's a big dog. You notice your muscles tense, your eyes become sharper, your heart rate increases, your blood pressure increases, just to get you out of that situation. So you're either fighting or flighting, or, you're either flighting or fleeing, right? And you need to understand that that particular mode your body is in is a response to the stimuli of seeing that danger called a dog. You're not meant to be in that state for a very long time. But a lot of people, especially in this part of the world, being exposed to so many things, today is one cool somewhere and you're wondering if your country is next. Next tomorrow it's, fuel price increasing. Before you know what's happening, the dollar has increased to, insane amounts. And your body is always in that fight or flight mode. You can't sustain it for long. So you need to understand that there are some things you can change and there are some things you can't change. Focus on the things you can change. Leave the rest. The world will still go on. Yeah, that's one. Secondly, talk. A lot of us are built to keep our struggles in because we seem to think that when we share our struggles with other people is a sign of weakness. No, it's not. Understanding that you're vulnerable is also a sign of strength. So talk to your community. I call it community. Find people who share the same goals, the same dreams, who you can be vulnerable to without, your this thing leaking on Instagram the next day, and talk to them. Right. Have that conversation with them. One thing you notice is when you do this, it lifts certain weights off your shoulders and helps you sometimes even can even provide clarity in some cases. And other times make you understand that the problem is not probably as big as you're envisioning it to be. The third is exercise. Right? But we say things like, oh, but it's stressful. Where can I find the time to exercise? And that's because we think exercise is go to the gym. Yeah. You have 5 minutes just before you prepare for work. Use that 5 minutes, do a couple of skips. Use that 5 minutes, do push-ups, but make it consistent. What that does is that it prepares your body prepares your mind, prepares your, your mental capacity. How? Because when you exercise, generally, your body releases endorphins into your bloodstream.
Right.
Endorphins are feel-good hormones. So the process of exercise is probably not funny, but what you get after is what makes you feel good. And if you start your day off that way, you're probably going to handle the difficulties you meet during the day a lot better than somebody who didn't.
Yeah, I like that you said exercise. So you know, there's this popular saying that prevention is always better than cure.
Preaching.
With healthcare being more expensive, you know, not everybody can afford to go to the hospital. So technically, it is way better to actually prevent a health crisis than actually getting to the point where you have to pay and you don't have the money.
Exactly.
So aside from exercise, what other things do you think an individual can do to make sure that he or she doesn't fall sick as often?
Like you said, prevention is better than cure, right? So aside from exercise, your diet is also very important. We are now in a world where everything is fast. And because of that, our diet has also become fast. And so a lot of us are reason for easy to make meals. The only problem I have with that is a lot of these meals are very high in carbs. A lot of them are high in fat. A lot of them are, high in sugar. But there's a feeling you get when you eat them, right? It makes you feel good. That's, we'll come to that later. But you need to understand that your diet is one of the most important things you need to take care of, because it has to be rich in vegetables, has to be rich in fiber to help your gut move better. And if you're constantly exposed to what I refer to as fast food, fast diets, it's going to negatively affect your blood sugar. Because when you eat those foods, your insulin increases in order to be able to handle the sugar. But if it continues to increase over time, your body has a tendency to become resistant to the insulin. And so the insulin raises, but your blood sugar doesn't come down. That's why a lot of people tip towards that, and you need to prevent that as much as you can. So exercise, and please drink water. We keep saying it every time, but
yes.
Water for me is cheat. Like there's cheat hacks, cheat code. You're feeling too hungry, drink water. You are feeling tired, you have a headache sometimes.
But I've heard that somebody died from drinking too much water. So what is the measurement? What is the accurate measurement for how many liters do I need to take? So
some people would say 2 to 3 liters a day, depending on what the environmental conditions are. Now, we're in a cold room, right? Your body is going to lose less water than when the environment is hot. And that's because you don't just lose water from peeing, you lose water from your skin when you sweat, you lose water from your nostrils when you breathe, from your mouth when you talk. And when you're in that very hot environment, you tend to lose more water than possible. That's why you've noticed that when we're very hot, you tend to reach for more bottles.
Yes.
Easily. But if it's colder, but generally between 2 to 3 liters. Now, when people get water poisoning, it's simply because they take more water in a short period than their bodies can handle. Because your kidneys have a limited amount of water that they can excrete per minute, per hour, per day, right? If you take more than the kidneys can process, it's only going to flow back into your bloodstream. So, and to be honest, it's rare for someone to do that, because yes, when it happens, it breaks the news and everybody keeps tagging me, Aproko doctor, can you see somebody died from drinking water? It would probably happen if you drink like 2 liters or 3 liters of water at once, which sometimes is almost impossible. So there are certain cases where that can happen, but it's rare, ideally 2 to 3 liters per day. All right, Dr. Ejemba. Egemba.
Aha. I'm calling you Dr. Egemba because I've been speaking to Dr. Egemba for the past 10 minutes now. So I want to talk about Aproko Doctor. And for the viewers that are confused, Aproko Doctor has a great way of fusing in entertainment and passing great information all in one. So he's funny, and at the same time, he's passing the necessary information. And I think that has helped him to reach audiences in all age ranges, the Gen Zs, the millennials, and all whatnot.
And the boomers also.
The what?
The baby boomers.
The baby boomers. So, Aproko Doctor, and I need you to involve Emeka and Nkechi.
Emeka and Nkechi.
There was a particular video that you made, and you talked about how people can get herpes from sharing shisha and sharing certain materials, right? Can you throw more light on that particular issue? Because whether we like it or not, we know that young people are in the habit of going for parties and everybody's sharing same shisha pipe, right? So throw more light on that particular.
So Emeka and Nkechi, I need you to listen to this very carefully. Let's talk. Herpes. What is herpes? Herpes is simply a virus. There are two kinds. There's herpes simplex 1 and there's herpes simplex 2. Herpes simplex 2 is otherwise known as the genital virus, right? It occurs around the genitals. The herpes simplex 1 occurs around the mouth, so it's called the oral herpes, right? Now, it is a virus that currently has no cure. But it doesn't mean you're going to break out all the time. So when a person gets infected with herpes, it could show up as an infection by, the blisters, whether in the mouth or in the genital areas. But then when they don't see the blisters anymore, it doesn't mean that you're cured. It just means that herpes has entered into the nerves under the skin and it has stayed there.
So it's hidden.
Yeah. Now, whenever a person is sick, for example, Emeka now falls ill, and then he gets the blister. He assumes that, because my body pain, I had fever, and doctor said it was malaria, so this thing that's coming up here is malaria. No, it's not. It's simply because your body's immunity at that particular point is reduced. And so the herpes breaks out again. The same thing can happen when you're under undue amounts of stress. Right. It could break out again. Now, what is the easiest way to get herpes, right? Not the easiest way, because, one of the most common ways to get herpes is when saliva is exchanged. So let's assume I'm in a club, there's like 4 or 5 bottles of whatever, and then, there's shisha, and I puff and pass. The person I'm passing to does not know what my state is. It doesn't know, just because he's not seeing a blister, cannot assume that I don't have herpes. And that person takes the puff also. That person could get infected. Right. There's a higher chance if I have a blister on already. So if everybody keeps passing it, the infection could keep growing. And sometimes it just goes round and round and round. Right. Sometimes even makeup, brushes.
Aproko, don't go there.
No, I have to. Why else am I Aproko?
Wait. Makeup brushes.
Yes, makeup brushes, especially public makeup brushes. If they are not rinsed, if they are not washed, around the mouth, somebody has a blister and you used it immediately just after me, and you go to the next person, the person could get a blister. Because sometimes when people go online and research herpes, for example, now Nkechi is researching herpes, Emeka is researching herpes, and they're like, they say it's from kissing, but I've not kissed anybody. You shared something around.
I don't know why I'm so bothered, because of late I've been acting a lot of Nollywood movies, and that's the thing. They just they're trying to make everybody up at the same time.
Exactly.
And
I don't know who has what.
The director will just say, "All right, action. This scene, you're supposed to kiss this lady. What am I supposed to do?" So what should we do in Nollywood?
So ideally,
should we do like a medical test before we go on set?
Ideally, I would advocate for that, because this is me getting into this other person's space and not just getting into the other person's space. Yes, it's acting, but we're getting intimate. I need to know how to protect myself, because at the end of the day, it's you. And some people have herpes and then they go to kiss young babies or small babies. There actually was a case of a baby, because when babies are born, their immunities are not yet formed fully.
True.
And when you go kiss that baby, especially with a blister on, that baby gets the herpes. I've seen cases where it transmits, to the baby and then goes to the baby nervous system. And before you know what's happening, there's a brain infection and the baby goes on from there.
Wow.
So you never know who you're going to infect. You never know who's going to get infected. So if you're going to act in movies like that, I think it's only right. Because most times we just act these things or we do those jobs and we do not realize that aside from just the job itself, our lives are going to be affected by whatever decisions go on there. So by every means possible, ask for a test.
All right. We barely have 5 minutes and there's so much for us to discuss. I'm going to quickly just touch on the issue of aging. Sometimes we're used to being healthy and we do not understand that as we age, probably our immunity starts deteriorating. Certain things happen to me now. I'm not that old. I'm not even up to 30. However, I'm beginning to notice certain changes, in my body, as I age. So what would you tell those people that are aging? What precautions can we take to ensure that we still maintain that youthful vigor even as we age?
So I would say there's online advice and then there's real world advice. When you go online and then you listen to fitness enthusiasts, a lot of people do things that are quote unquote unrealistic. This is no shade to anybody, but You go fitness, you see someone, there's always abs on, and to you, that's a goal, right? But you ought to realize that not everybody walks with 6 abs on all the time. You have to tense your body in order to get that way.
Do you have 6 abs?
No, I don't.
Okay, that explains why you're beefing the people with 6 abs. But continue.
So I have 6 abs, but they are not there all the time.
I'm just joking.
So you need to understand your limits, and your limits will show by how much exercise you're doing, right? You don't just, some people get motivated and then they go to the gym, and then you see someone who's younger than you probably squatting like 200 kg, and all of a sudden that's what you want to squat on your first day. As a 35-year-old, 36-year-old man, you have to realize that you no longer have the muscular tension of that person. So do what you can maintain. Don't do what you're motivated to. That's one. Number two, if you know that running is a problem, for most people as they age, one of the first signs that they're aging is their knees tend to give in at some point, right? It's fine. But rather than run, walk. Walking is actually, I've waited to say this, walking is actually one of the cheat codes that I, quote unquote, discovered by myself. You know, if you walk for long hours, I have a watch that keeps me on check 10,000 steps a day. You could lose insane amounts of weight just doing that. For
some of us that like to do big man, every time we're driving to location, you want to go to a pharmacy or a supermarket, you're driving.
Take the stairs.
Yeah, take the stairs. Okay, so there's a pandemic that is currently in town. Every single week, there's always a new brand of Agbo. Everybody is taking something in their defense, you know. This Agbo helps the body, detoxifies the body. But if we're to be honest, especially for males, we know the reason why we take Agbo.
Yeah, we know, you know.
We know.
Yes.
You know the reason. You know.
You know.
So, can you tell us how healthy is Agbo? Should we be buying Agbo? Talk about branded Agbo. And by branded Agbo, I mean all of the new brands that will come up. They'll give it a fine cover and do like big, massive promo for it. So how healthy is drinking Agbo?
You have put me in a tight corner. We are going to get out somewhere one way or the other. Okay. Now, first let me say this, that most drugs were gotten from natural sources, right? Most drugs were gotten from leaves, from vegetables, from the bark of trees. Some drugs are. But there's a process to getting those drugs out. Now, you have to isolate, first of all, the active ingredients. You don't just grind the whole leaf and then you take it. Because when you grind the whole leaf, you grind the whole tree, there are other alkaloids, let me use that word, in them.
That less than 60 seconds.
That could be harmful to your kidneys. So you have to realize that Agbo in and of itself needs more work to be certified as safe. It needs more tests. We need to investigate more into this Agbo. If you're taking Agbo just because everybody else is taking it, you don't know what your liver is. And if you're taking Agbo because you want to detoxify, I want to tell you categorically right now that your liver is already doing that job for you. You don't need another thing to help you do it.
All right, there you have it. The liver is doing the job already. So especially those ones that EI used to sell. As much as possible, try and avoid Agbo because your liver is doing the job already. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Chinonso Egemba, a.k.a. Aproko Doctor.